Hey there makers, I'm Bree from the team here at Minerva. Today we are taking a look at one of my favorite indie pattern companies, Named Clothing. So Named was one of the original designers that hit the indie sewing scene about 10 years ago, and in that time they have developed a beautiful catalog full of modern designs, and their patterns have become like cult classics in the sewing community. So we'll chat about the brand's core aesthetics and values and what you can expect from a Named Clothing pattern. And then we'll get into my 5 favorite patterns, and I've got some examples of fabrics to go with them. So if you see anything that catches your eye, everything will be linked in the description below, so you can go check out the product pages, see some inspiration from other makers, so stay tuned. So Named Clothing was started in 2013 by Finnish sisters Laura and Sara. So they both finished their degrees in fashion and design, and then struggled to find their values of sustainability, quality, and creativity reflected in the fashion industry. So their solution was to come together and form Named Clothing. It's a pattern design company for home sewists. They integrated those values of slow fashion into beautiful streamlined designs. The patterns in Named Clothing definitely have that Scandinavian timeless aesthetic, and their catalog features casual everyday garments as well as more specialized items for fancier occasions. Named Clothing patterns are definitely known for having something a little special in each design, so either like a unique detail or a special technique. So they're really great skill builder patterns. They are pretty even split across difficulty rating between novice and intermediate, but there are a few advanced patterns in there as well. Named Clothing, like many other indie pattern designers, they are expanding their size range. So all the ones that I'm highlighting today are in their full improved size range, which is EU 32 to 56 or UK 4 to 28. So that is for hips 33 to 55.5 inches. Now, not all the patterns are up to date just yet, so be sure to check the sizing information for each individual pattern. And without further ado, let's get into my 5 favorite Named Clothing patterns. We're starting off with one of my absolute favorites. This is the Rita shirt dress. I love how they have taken the elements of a classic shirt dress and made them really modern. The camp style collar is really fun with the wider, more relaxed short sleeve. It's got top stitched cuffs. It feels very like vacation dad. But then the way that it comes in at the waist with the high slits of the skirt bring in some more femininity to balance out the look. There's beautiful pleated patch pockets at the bust, which is a gorgeous detail. I also love how the little waist drawstring comes and ties over the button placket. I think it is super cute together. Again, balancing that comfy, relaxed fit with sweet feminine detailing. So the dress is finished really neatly with a back yoke to enclose the shoulder seams. It's an intermediate pattern. The classic shirt details like the collar, the placket, and the yoke mean that Rita is going to require a little more time and focus, but it's really one to just take your time and sink into those details. Having some shirt making experience definitely helps, but it's really more about having patience for those beautiful aspects of the Rita dress. For fabrics, you'll want to look for lightweight wovens with a little bit of drape to them, so linen, cotton lawn, viscose, and tencel are great options. So I would go for a nice flowy Rita. So I have picked one of our Minerva exclusive viscose challis prints. So this one is called Spring Cascade. Now it's 100% viscose. It is really nice and lightweight, but it's still opaque and it feels really, really nice on the skin. This is one of my favorite prints. The floral has kind of a vintage feel about it, almost like an impressionist painting. Lots of texture in here in this print, and the colors are really modern, which kind of balances that vintage impressionism vibe. So you've got these really, really gorgeous deep oranges and then these nice gold yellow, but then it's again, balanced out really nicely with these cool tone lilacs and these dark greens. I think it is so beautiful. And the scale is going to work really nicely for the Rita dress. You've got that nice long skirt, which is a perfect canvas for a bigger print like this. So I think that would be so beautiful for the Rita dress. Next up, we have the Aena trousers, and I am so in love with these. I love when like beauty and functionality come together in a design, and the Aena is just the perfect, smart, but very comfortable trouser. From the front, the Aena is just like a regular flat front trouser with a zip fly. It's got a nice smooth hip and side pockets. But then in the back, we have a specialized like waist tab and elastic section for adjustability. It keeps the back looking really nice and smooth, but is really going to help folks like me, and I know I'm not the only one, whose waistline fluctuates significantly throughout the day. And also, because it's got the waist tab and the front fly, it's a really good option for folks with a greater hip to waist ratio, so you can really bring it in while still being able to get them on and off really easily. So it's just such a thoughtful design. It's so great for a little bit of flexibility. And it does come with two views, so you have a tapered leg and a wide leg. Now, most patterns that come with a zipper fly automatically get that intermediate rating for difficulty. And then we have the flexible waistband, which is unique, but not necessarily difficult. And Named actually has a video so long that you can find on Minerva's Aena product page. So of course that will be linked below if you want to check that out. Aena is designed for stretch woven fabrics, so you'll want to look for a medium weight woven with 5 to 10% horizontal stretch. So fabrics like stretch denim, stretch twill, a gabardine is going to work really nicely for these trousers. For the Aena, I have picked the Mind the Maker Organic Trench Stretch Woven Cotton Poplin, and this is in the color Sienna. So this is 95% organic cotton and 5% elastane. So you can see here it's got a nice amount of give perpendicular to the selvage. Now, it's called the trench because the weave of this poplin is really nice and tight. It is a lighter fabric, but that weave makes it nice and durable, which makes it a great choice for jackets and trousers. And the tight weave is also what gives it a little bit of sheen to it. Now, it's really crisp, like you would expect from a cotton poplin, and that's going to be especially great for the wide leg view of the Aena trouser. It's going to give it a really nice amount of structure, and then the stretch will have the perfect amount of flexibility. Next up, I've got the Cisco Interlace dress and top. This is another just really thoughtful design. Not only does it offer a lot of day-to-day flexibility, but it's also designed to transition between bigger life changes like pregnancy and nursing without being like specific maternity wear. So it's a wrap top and bodice, and that's the main feature. But instead of like a traditional V-neck wrap, the Cisco front pieces are kind of like wave shaped, so that when they cross over, it creates this really beautiful keyhole at the front chest. It also ties in the back, and that creates a second little peak at the high waist. So two cutouts could seem a little bit bold, but I think it's really nicely balanced by the high neckline of the bodice and the length of the midi skirt. So the Cisco Interlace top and dress is rated intermediate. If you're familiar with sewing knit fabrics, it's not a tricky sew. You'll just want to keep your instruction booklet like on your sewing desk with you, since the bodice construction is really unique. You'll want to look for knit fabrics with 40 to 50% cross-waist stretch. So most jerseys like cotton, viscose, and tencel jersey will work really nicely, but you can also opt for something a bit more structured like a jacquard knit or an interlock. So for the Cisco, I have picked our luxury viscose jersey from the Minerva Core range. It is 92% viscose and 8% elastane. So it's got a really beautiful drape, and it's got a nice weight to it without being too heavy or even clingy. Now this is the colorway teal. It is super deep and saturated. It's so pretty, but this also comes in 40 other colors, so there's tons of beautiful options. And I really love a fabric like this for the Cisco because it is fully lined. Something a bit thinner and drapier I think works really nicely to not get too bulky, so I really love this for the Cisco top and dress. Next, I have the Hallie wrap dress and jumpsuit. So the two views of this pattern I think really allow you to mix and match the features to create your perfect wrap. So view A is super romantic. It has these 3/4 length sleeves that gather into a sweet cuff. The two-piece skirt features a deep flounce that gives the skirt kind of a trumpety shape, lots of twirl factor. And then view B is a bit sportier, so the sleeves are short and straight, and the A-line midi skirt is actually more like a skirt because it's got a culotte style trouser as the back view. I really love the versatility of this pattern. I think the bodice keeps it really classic with some bust darts and a neat back yoke, but then the sleeve and skirt variation make it really unique. So it is a intermediate pattern. Like the Rita shirt dress, the construction is more or less straightforward, but there are just a lot of steps. So most light to medium weight fabrics are going to work nicely for the Hallie, but keep in mind that drapier fabrics, viscose and tencel, will have kind of a softer look, especially with like the gathers of the sleeve and like the swish of the skirt. And more bodied fabrics like linen and shirting will have more structure. Now, if you're looking for something kind of in the middle, cotton lawn or cotton sateen would be really nice. It'll be swishy for the flow of the flounce skirt, but it'll still have enough structure to hold the A-line of the other view. So going for that middle ground, I have picked one of our new cotton sateen prints from the Minerva exclusive collection. This one is called Jungle Dreamer. This one has been so popular. We've actually got this design printed on our exclusive French terry, the viscose challis, and the linen viscose blend, as well as this one. But I think the cotton sateen is my personal favorite. It is 100% cotton. It is so silky smooth. In terms of like weight and drape, it's really similar to a cotton lawn, but then the sateen weave gives it a really beautiful sheen, and the colors are so saturated, so vibrant. I really love like these little orange jaguars are so cute. It's just such a fun print, and I think would make a really cool, really fun Hallie wrap dress. The last pattern I have is probably the one that most comes to mind when people hear of named clothing. Of course, it is the Kielo wrap dress and jumpsuit. This is just such a cool, it's comfortable, unique, it's wearable, like it hits all of the boxes. So basically, you just have these two big triangles coming off the hip, and then you wrap them across either in the front or the back. They tie at the waist. It's another example of really thoughtful design. So even though the main features are similar, there are some practical differences between the jumpsuit and the dress that make them as functional as they are beautiful. So if you go for the dress view, there is a slit in the back skirt at the bottom for easier movement. And then the neckline is just finished with a simple t-shirt style neckband just to come on and off super easy. And then to make getting in and out of the jumpsuit a bit easier, there is a button closure and a long slit at the back neck. And then the neckline is finished with a facing, so it's a little bit sturdier as you're getting in and out of it. So even with those like specifics, it is a beginner pattern. So looking at the pattern pieces, again, these like big triangles, it can be a bit of a mind bender, but it comes together so nicely and it's such a fun sew. So it was designed for knits with 30 to 50% crossways stretch. So most jerseys, as well as ITY knits and interlock, are going to be really good options. Now the pattern does note that the Kielo doesn't do well with really heavy jerseys because the weight can kind of pull it a bit out of shape. So you'll want to keep that in mind as well. For the Kielo, I have picked this really unique rayon nylon jersey from the Minerva core range. So this is the lavender colorway, which I think is so gorgeous. It's really saturated with these beautiful like pink undertones. We do have it in 12 other colors though, and all of them have this really unique texture that catches the light. It's really super drapey. Now it is 55% rayon and 45% nylon. So it is a knit fabric, but it doesn't have any spandex or elastane in the fiber content. So knits without elastic fibers are a bit different than like a t-shirt style jersey. They don't have as much recovery, but they still have a good amount of stretch, and they're just like a little bit sturdier. So that's going to be really great for the Kielo, especially for the jumpsuit version where you've got the facing for the neckline. Yeah, the sturdiness is just going to lend itself really nicely to the Kielo. It is quite light. It's not going to It is drapey, but it's not a heavy drape. So you're gonna get those really beautiful folds with the wrap over, but it's not gonna pull itself out of shape. So this is a really great choice for the Kielo. So those are my 5 favorite patterns from Named Clothing. Now I realized they ended up being mostly intermediate patterns, but rest assured the range has plenty of designs suitable for beginners as well as a few advanced patterns thrown in there too. The whole range is just so full of really cool design features and skill building elements. I really hope you'll check them out. Of course, I linked all the fabrics and the patterns below. If there's something that caught your eye today and you want to save 10%, you should check out the Minerva Craft Club. You can sign up and save 10% on all your Minerva orders for a whole year. I hope you are feeling as inspired as I am to get sewing. But if you have any questions, of course, let us know in the comments. We would love to help you out, offer recommendations. We love chatting about all things sewing. And I hope you're subscribed here on Minerva and following on YouTube. We've got tons more videos coming your way all the time. So hopefully we will see you soon. And until next time, happy making. Bye.